What is up, everybody, and welcome to 2024. If it's your first time here, my name's Lewis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. And I would like to thank you for taking the time and hang out here with me as we roll into episode 162. Yep, that's 162 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream. And as always, as tradition goes around here, the first thing that I do is go ahead and check out who of the Camera Junkie crew is hanging out in chat. So let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. Right off the rip, we have Mr. Paul Duncan. How are you doing, Mr. Moderator? How are you doing? We got Jeremy as well. Rainy Cajuns in the house. We got Gretchen saying hello to myself and the crew. That's such a cute avatar, Gretchen. That's nice. I like it. And Rainy as well. He's saying hola to images by Gretchen. And yeah, I'm really digging the avatar. New year, new avatars. Maybe I should change mine up, but I digress. All right. Well, if you've clicked on today's episode, then you'd also know the subject at hand, so to speak, and it's called the Ished Shorts Challenge, so to speak. And this is just something that was brought up to me as a challenge by a fellow content creator of Kathy Hester. And some of you that were in the chat, like Steven Wicks here, how you doing, brother? That he was part of it, knows that I'm going to be attempting to just basically create shorts this week and make them, in my eyes, like as simple, like low budget, so to speak, as possible. I'm really gonna, dig into just creating stuff off my phone real quick so that I don't have to worry about, over complicating the entire process. And this is a challenge that was brought up to me because of what I am seeking to do this year, which is, done is better than perfect, right? And we can't get to the next project without finishing the current project, and we need to pump out as much as possible so that I can reach the goals that I want to reach for the end of this calendar year, which is 10,000 subscribers on the channel. So that's the goal, and I'm going to make it known not only here on the live streams, but as well as in the content that I'm going to be putting out. So I am going to be making some shorts, but then at the same time I'm going to be making people aware that that's the goal that I'm trying to meet, and see if voicing it to the universe, so to speak, is what's going to allow this train to really start taking off. And we'll see where it leads from there, because already good things have already been happening, and I'm going to share some of those with you, right now. So that's why we're here, to hang out. All right. She says, Avatar is inspired by the UW Huskies. What does the UW stand for? Because I can't pluck it out, so to speak. I guess Upper Washington Huskies? Or if that's like a university. I don't know. Let me know. But yes. Okay, so that's basically what we were talking about, which is to not overcomplicate things, because one of the things that I love to do is to actually get nerdy with all of my video edits and stuff like that, and go through them with a fine-tooth comb. And I kind of fixate right on fixing something that nobody will ever notice. Right? Only me, as the creator who's done it, know the intricacies and the details of what I put in, but more importantly, what I've left out of an edit. And I think that that's what most people don't understand, that you have to cut the fat, right? You have to, kill your darlings. There's so many different ways of putting this out, because you have to just get your message across and basically nothing else, right? That's the cleanest way. So there's some people who like a very fatty steak, and there's people who like filet mignon. But when it comes to edits, you have to lean more towards the lean, right? And you have to lean more towards to the fillet, right? You have to cut the fat. And this is something that's done in a variety of different, fields of work, so to speak, of the arts. Another one, okay, so I see Gretchen just popped in there, says University of Washington. Okay, her alma mater. Okay, that's perfect. Makes perfect sense, but I wasn't getting it. I might have gotten it at the end. It says, oh, and that's who you went to go see at the Sugar Bowl. She told us this entire story about her kids gifting her and Bob a full expense paid trip to go to the Sugar Bowl. And now it makes even more sense. But I gotta be honest, right? I used to be so big on sports. Like on all sports. I used to be what you would call a ESPN junkie. Like it was just like I could basically hold a conversation about any type of sport, like, because I was so immersed into that sort of like world that you overhear a lot of other sports that you're really not familiar with, but you could hold your own, so to speak, just because of the conversation when it comes to all sports. And I know how nerdy I used to get with that whenever, like, the worst thing for me was when they invented fantasy football, because that was just like, oh, the NFL on steroids, right? And when that first came out, and I really mean when fantasy football first came out, before it got popularized and there was apps, before apps were even on phones, when fantasy football first came out, that's when I started doing it, and I got so wrapped into it. And this was just like mostly through emails and stuff like that, and I was like, it consumed so much more of my life now than just the average football watcher on Sundays. And it, like, I guess I could obsess over that stuff, and just like go into like all the information and just like go down that rabbit hole. So knowing that about myself is why I just know my limits, and I stay away from a lot of those things now, just to accomplish like the goals that I'm telling you that I want to accomplish, to set out, because sacrifices have to be made, right? And one of the sacrifices that I did make is basically secular TV. Like, I don't watch television, and when I do want to be entertained, I am getting edutainment from the same platform that I'm on right now, YouTube, that I absolutely love so much. And it's so funny to me that, just this past holiday season, hanging out with my family, having conversations about like, when was the last time that I've seen a commercial, for like anything? When was the last time that I've actually sat to watch a sporting event? And even the sports that I do continue to, like follow, which is, mixed martial arts, it's because I have avenues to watch replays of that and kind of cut out commercials and do all of that stuff, which is what allows me to stay on top of a sport that I like. But if it wasn't for that, I'd be out of luck, right? So I'd just be like completely out of the loop. But it's so funny to me that someone who used to watch like all the football games, collegiate and professional, and then to come now and just the new year has blown by and I have not watched a football game, like a bowl game, personally. Like, and I take nothing away from it, because whenever I've come across them, especially mostly like when I'm in stores, department stores on a Sunday, and they're playing it, and I'm like, oh, I still love the game, but I know that I just don't have the time to dedicate to watch it the way that I used to. So it's nice to see it from afar, but it's just very shocking to me how separated I am myself from that entire industry, from that entire world, when it comes to like the sports industrial complex, right? Like having just so much information that I am just completely oblivious to right now, because the best way that I can put it is it's very hard to be on stage and an audience member at the same time. And when you're trying to create your own thing, and when you're trying to build your own legacy, and my legacy is for Prince Aiden right over here, that I'm trying to leave everything to, right, cater to all of his needs, then I know the sacrifices that need to be made. And right now I need to be on stage and not in the audience. So that's basically it in a nutshell, right? When it comes to me, there's other things that people sacrifice. Mine is basically television and entertainment while I'm actually doing this thing over. So let's go ahead and check back into the chat. Okay, Parker snuck in right here saying hello to everyone. Rainey is actually saying jump cuts are like nails on a chalkboard for me. Hey, like, there's ways to mask the jump cuts, but that's part of what this challenge is about. I'm gonna try not to over edit, right? Because I'm gonna be real with you, right? If I'm gonna make a YouTube short and it's gonna be clipped out, I might record it on my phone, but there's no way that I'm editing it on my phone. There's just no way. Like, that's getting airdropped to my computer, and I'm doing this, and I'm adding a secondary audio. If I'm talking in it, I'm making sure that I'm clearing it out so that it's like understandable, and then I'm throwing it through Alphonic so that it's regulated and controlled with the audio and the music, and I'm doing all of those things for a 15-second clip, right? That's what I do. Right. And like, that's why I said, like, I'll be throwing B-roll on it and having, like, I'm going nerdy on it. And that's what this challenge is not about. This challenge is to actually make something directly out of my phone, just record something, do something in like one take, and just get it out there. This is more, done is better than perfect. Right. And that's what I'm aiming for. Now, the subject matter of what I'm going to be doing this challenge on, that I'm still haven't decided, but I'm starting tomorrow as far as Sunday and finishing off this next Saturday. So it will be the following, which will be the 13th, I believe. I haven't even set up that calendar. Let's check this one out over here. Too many clicks. So yes, the 13th, which will be next Saturday. So from the 7th to the 13th, I am taking it upon myself to create shorts, short videos, short content for this channel, and we'll see where it lies. At the end of it, I am going to try, like I said, to add something else, including the fact that I'm trying to reach the 10,000 subscriber, which is what's going to be this year's goal, and kind of reiterate that fact and just kind of beat it into people's you understand? Like, if you're watching this video, click the button, right? And that's what, unfortunately, is the game that we have to play. But it's kind of like, if I want to make this my full-time job, then I need to start treating it that way as well, right? There's certain things, certain hoops that we have to jump through in any type of employment. So I'm treating it the same way. And cool part is that I actually have fun doing this, right? Like, I'm telling you all of these things of like making, shoddy videos, right, for a week, and I'm doing it with a smile on my face because I know that I'm just gonna have a lot of fun. So I'm gonna try to learn a new skill, right? Upgrade my skill before anything else, and put another form of content out there to see how it does comparative to my over edited 15-second clips. So all right, so hey, Johnny's here saying what's up to the fam, and Michael's also here saying hello to everyone. How you doing, sir? Says sounding better. Yes, I'm feeling better. Not 100%, but definitely much better. Like, last week I was just a hot mess, and well, you guys saw some of it. But It is unfortunate that Aiden did end up getting a little bit under the weather himself, so I've been taking care of him this week. And that's where we're at. Nothing too severe, but just more like sinus congestion. So trying to keep the temperature warm here, right? And humidity high to constantly keep, so hot showers, things like that, just to keep the mucus flowing, so to speak. Getting it out of it. Hey, feliz año, happy new year. How you doing, sir? Albert's in the house. Te deseo un feliz año 2024. Eres un gran comunicador. Siga adelante con tu canal. Thank you very much. And to translate real quick, I wish you a happy new year, or happy year of 2024. You are a great communicator. Keep striving forward with your channel. Muchas gracias. Well, there's stuff that I think I'd spoken to you guys about, and that's another thing that I'm also going to be doing this year, which is on a completely separate thing, which is I'm going to try to start building my my affiliate sales with Ecamm, and I'm going to be trying to hit up the Spanish market, right? To hit up the Spanish demographic and helping them do the same thing that I do in English, right? It's kind of a no-brainer, and I'm going to do my best. It's not perfect because, I've learned the hard way that there's a variety of different Spanish dialects out there, but I could only do what I can do, and I'm gonna do Ecamm en Español, to try to build up on that as well. So Michael says, I missed about jump cuts. I tell my students that they lose points for every jump cut they do. Yeah, well, you see, a jump cut, if it's necessary, right? If it is necessary, because there's been times that I've had edits that I'm like, there's nothing that I can do. Well, that's when I would make a J cut or an L cut, right? Depending on the situation, and have the audio kind of trickle on continuously, or start, from the next sentence, depending if it really needs to be jumped or cut, so to speak. So it's not the best, but I'll tell you the truth. There's some people, I guess more or less nowadays, that because of these social media platforms, vertical content that just scrolls, whether it's Reels or TikTok or YouTube Short, that basically what ends up happening is that people are so accustomed to jump cuts that it doesn't even bother them anymore. And the reason why I bring this up is because it's gone past just social media. And this brings me back to the conversation of that I basically haven't been watching television for years, basically since Aiden was born. And when I do come across it, when I came across some of it just for this holiday season with my family, I saw some commercials, and they're so foreign to me, right? I was like, wow, I remember this is just norm, but I digress. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was the way the commercials were being edited, the way the commercials are being shown, and they're not even widescreen. There are literally, I have this, well, my sister at her house, she had this big TV, and you'll see that a McDonald's commercial is using vertical content, right? And sometimes they're even putting up to 3 clips of vertical stripes, right, to cover the entirety of the 9x16 width of your television, but it's still vertical clips, and they're being jump cutted hard. And I'm like, damn, boom, bam. And it's like, whoa, this was totally not how you would edit. And I forgot who said it, but I haven't even done it myself. I just heard somebody say, and they go, just go through the decades, right? And just start picking 1 or 2 movies, right? And start looking at how the intros to these movies were being made, right? And how a movie intro could take and like be prolonged as you're displaying the credits, right? Showing or displaying the credits of who's producing, who's directing, so on and so forth, you know, the entire production, so to speak. And that like as the decades progress, that time frame ends up being shorter and shorter, to even the point that there's some movies that start complete action, have no intro, no title, no nothing, right? And then about like a minute in, when you're already like completely invested and you're just like, what's happening next, is when this person will just take a long walk and you'll see the first hints of credits or the title of the movie itself, anything of that sort. And that just goes to show you how people's I guess focus, right, or concentration, and how fast you can lose someone has changed. And everyone, and I wanted to emphasize that, like, what they focus on, because everyone keeps saying that, you know, like, people don't have long attention spans, and I'm gonna disagree with that. I think people are way more in tune with what they like and what they don't like, that they're able to recognize it faster. And if you're able to recognize what you dislike right away, even if it's a visual, right? It's like you putting something in your mouth and you'll be like, oh, that tastes disgusting. It doesn't take long for you to know if you like it or you dislike it. It takes just a split second. And that's how fast these people are able to diagnose your video to know if it's something for them or if it's not. And I've caught myself doing it, right? And I'm like, I absolutely, like, I've skipped a video, right? And I'm like, why did I skip that video so fast? And I guess this is just me being hypercritical because I'm in this field as well, but I've caught myself, I go, why did I skip that video so fast? And then I go back to it, right? And I give it a chance, and then it only confirms. I was like, I absolutely knew that this video wasn't for me, right? And that's where I think we're at nowadays, that we're to the point where people can like hyper recognize how fast whether something is made for them or not. And understanding that just should give you the understanding of like, make what you're going to make, because the people who are for you are going to find your content, and that's just it. But going back to this challenge is like, it's impossible for them to see not even 1% of a video that you never uploaded. So I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm going to be putting an onus to just create a lot more content and just put it out there. Like, not the highest quality, but just put it out there and see where that lies, because I'm going to be looking to expand, right? And be, and not by my waist, but like expand as far as like start building a team and start getting the help that I need to get this going and establishing it, like, once again, like a business. So thinking or putting emphasis and thought in what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on this year. Melanie is in the house. Excuse me, y'all. Let me get something to drink here. So good. They're bad for you. I don't drink them for energy, but man, they're so good. I just wish I didn't run out of water just before the live stream. All right, so we're saying hi to Melanie. How are you doing? We got Tony as well saying, Dímelo Luis, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you here. And he's saying Happy New Year to the fam. That's true, man. It's like just day 6, but we are officially in 2024, which is just like how fast time flies. He says, great idea. The Spanish market is huge. Yeah. And what I'm planning on doing is basically creating a course similar to what Adrian Salisbury already has with the Ecamm Academy, but in Spanish, right? And just be the same teacher. Like I'm constantly telling other creators, other people within our, you know, circles and stuff like that, we all learned algebra, right? Like in high school, but we all had that one teacher that was able to like get to us a little bit more, right? And just because of the way that they taught it, it was able to sink in, and that's why they continuously repeat and teach you the same exact thing over and over again, because they know that the likelihood that just one teacher is going to teach it the exact way for everyone to get it is kind of like impossible. So they're playing a numbers game, and at the same time, got to do the same. I might not be for everybody, right? Somebody could quickly recognize and see my video and be like, nope, not for me, and it's all good. But I know that there's going to be a lot of people, especially in the Spanish market, that could use my help, and I'll be there to just lead the way and show them to this amazing program, which which we all know as Ecamm. This thing, that thing right there, bing, right? Ecamm, the Ecamm fam, and this amazing program, and just production, remote production, right? Remote podcasting, live streaming, pre-recorded content, transitions, camera switches, like you name it, this thing does it all, and it's just such an amazing program. Says, I brought the Ecamm to the Dominican Republic this past year, last February. Oh, you see, that's awesome. So we're doing the same thing. I'm just gonna do it on a completely different channel, right? And just call it that, like Ecamm en Español, and not to really tie it to anything else, because even though it's just the Spanish is literally is the language barrier, right? So knowing that the language barrier is even more critical than switching content, right? Because if people can't understand what you're saying, and then my videos in English are then start being thrown in front of a Spanish audience, is only gonna just throw a monkey wrench in the entire thing. So understanding that one key feature is why I said I have other email accounts, like with Google, that I will open up the YouTube channels for that and just start creating that content. But my plan is for that to never really like bleed over, right? Even though eventually is going to, because it's not like I like hide that I'm Hispanic on my English channel. So Melanie says, I really don't like a lot of new movies because they're so quick and jumpy, fast-paced editing. Look at that. You see, this is such a good bit of information. I like watching old movies sometimes just because they have a nice longer shots. Yeah, that's so true. And that's why I said, like, if you start looking at the edits, right, and how long like a shot, like watch a movie like iconic movies like Pulp Fiction, right, and how like they'll be zooming in on an eye and then showing you something just off to the right, and it's like, but that eye is there the entire shot, right, and you're just like completely engulfed. Or how, here's another example, like, because I've always been in kind of like the behind the scenes, like film industry, and knowing like how it was made, right? Like that was my funk, watching like a behind the scenes movie, like edit or like extra footage of how they made the movie, behind the scenes. I was all over it, right? Anyway, knowing that, right, knowing how these things are made, is really tough for me to get scared at a scary movie. Yet that's why I feel like the greats, like the Alfred Hitchcocks, were so great, because they frightened you. They had you at the edge of your seat with suspense. And I think that that's what nobody has nowadays. They have so much graphical knowledge and ability to CGI pretty much anything and make it look photo real, but that doesn't make it frightening, so to speak. That doesn't make it scary. And that's why the suspense that was built in a movie like Psycho is second to none, right? Like when you're at the edge of your seat when you seen the hand pull over like the shower curtain, right, and you know what's about to happen, yet it's like you're the fly on the wall. And that's why those were great masters of direction, right? And that's what I think these movies nowadays miss out a lot, right? They don't know how to build that tension. John's in the house as well, saying, "Hey, crew," to me. Glad my voice is stronger. Appreciate it. And you know what? I'll tell you the truth. Just even doing the live stream, speaking is helping me out a lot, I guess. Just getting a lot more hot air through the entire system is helping me feel better as well. Hey Kathy, how are you doing? Look, this is Kathy Hester, the inspiration for today's subject and the challenge that I will be doing this week. It's so awesome to have you here, Kathy. Thanks for stopping by. Look what Kathy says. She says, "I get scared watching the same jump scare in a preview every time." And you see, that's the whole thing. Like, well, I think the movie was The Haunting, right? The Haunting with what's his name? Owen. Yeah, the wow. The name that I got in my head is Gary Owen, which is the comedian, because I was just watching him, but that's not who I'm talking about. Owen Wilson. Yeah, Owen Wilson, Catherine Zeta-Jones. There was, I'm trying to remember who else was in the cast. I can probably IMDb it, but I digress. That movie, The Haunting. Yes, The Haunting, like there was really nothing scary about it. And the only time I remember watching it at the movie theater, that the only thing that got me to do anything was when they had like this human-sized fireplace in the movie. So the fireplace was like, it was fitted for the size of that hall living room, right? But you could easily walk a person into it, and they were freaked out about it. And I believe Owen Wilson was like, digging in the fire pit, and a skeleton just popped up to do a jump scare, and that was like, and that was basically the only scare that I got out of the movie. And I was like, wow, like that was really not worth it. And I guess jump scares have some value, but at the same time, I don't really get scared with movies, so I would much prefer a suspense movie over a scary movie any day. And here's a tip for anyone who's thinking about watching any movie at all, and whether it be recently made or even the older ones, right? If you're into that genre of like scary movie, check the rating. If it's rated R, you got like a pretty good chance. If it's rated PG-13, don't expect anything. They're letting you know right off the bat, like nothing's gonna go down. and once you learn that trick, you'll look over movies and you'll be like, man, that movie really wasn't good, and you'll be like, oh, PG-13 makes sense. It's almost like that the rating wasn't for the parental guidance. It was more just like the Rotten Tomato score, so to speak. All right. You know what? Let's switch something up, because I just got a notice from my wireless earpiece that it wants to give out. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to switch it up. Let's do this. Done like a true Apple sheep, right? There we go. We'll continue to listen to the music this way. All right. Well, now that we've hung out, I'm going to get to the next step, which is, so that I don't forget it, boom, Cities Gone, channels that I think you should go and watch. And this week's Cities Gone, let's see if we got that right. Boom, is Mr. Brandon Washington. Now, I believe that I've already covered Brandon Washington on Cities Gone before, but the reason why I bring him up again is because maybe you guys never heard of him. Maybe Kathy's never heard of him, but this is a content creator, semi-camera junkie, just the same way, likes a variety of different cameras, and someone that I followed for years. But most recently, during the holiday season, he actually had a giveaway of the 25 days of Christmas. And in the 25 days of Christmas, it was to kind of promote his new endeavor, which is the Creative Fam Academy. So let me go ahead and bring this up over here. Click onto the next thing, which is the Creative Fam Academy. So he's got a new, basically an iPhone app, right? That's part of the academy that gives you direct access. As you can see right there, there goes the or you can download it on the App Store or Google Play. And it's basically cultivated his own content so that you can run through his videos, but also there's a community and where you could actually join to his membership to his Creative Fam Academy, $34.99 a month, and you can sign up to actually have direct access to him when it comes to like communication, to actually help build what it is that you're trying to do. But the reason why I bring it up is because I was very fortunate enough to have won one of those 25 days of Christmas giveaway, and I think I was day 4 where he pops up and I open up Instagram, and today we have today's winner of a it's a aperture light, you know, the one that you could like bulb, like screw it on a bulb and it basically wireless and everything like that. So that aperture light was what I won. And I was like super excited, and he mentioned in his post, he's like, oh, I'm really glad that you won because you've been part of like, you know, like of the channel, you've been around, you know, and watching my content for a long time. So he was appreciative of not only like me being, you know, a supporter of his, but also that, you know, I was able to be one of the winners of this giveaway. So that was really cool. And during that 25 days of Christmas, he started doing live streams on Fridays at like 11 Central Time, which is basically noon Eastern. So noon Fridays, he's going live, and you all know me as well that I'm a live stream junkie. So while I'm doing my edits and working, I have his, you know, like a live stream playing on the secondary monitor over here, and it's just playing in the background. And every once in a while I'm just hopping over and skipping into the chat. So as we're hanging out, just doing that and working, the next thing you know, he pops out that he wants to do a giveaway to the person who people in the chat nominate as the most helpful person within the conversation, and my name was selected just a couple of days after winning the light, which ended up giving me another winnings of I think I won a subscription to Music Bed for a year. So I was just talking to Kathy about this earlier today, that all the music that I use is from Epidemic Sound, but I am going to have this year-long subscription of Music Bed, so I'm gonna have other things to compare it to as well. But I've been a happy user of Epidemic Sound, which you guys all know very well about that. But yeah, so now I won a couple of other things, and he's continued to do live streams every Friday because he's gotten the live stream bug as well. So that's been cool. And because of it, he was able to also, well, actually, he reached out to me through Instagram and asked me to be a moderator for his channel, for his live streams whenever I'm available. And I'm like, of course. As always, I'm happy to help. And it would just like come around full circle that now he's someone that not only knows me as Mr. Camera Junkie, but also knows me as Luis, right? This content creator that's off in Miami that now is in contact basically with another person who I've like looked up to and learned so much from. So that's why I wanted to emphasize that and bring that up to you guys as this week's Cities Gall. And that's just what's happened at the beginning of this year, right? So it's just looking for bigger and better things to come for the year, and I'm just super excited. So if you haven't checked them out, you might like Mr. Brandon Washington, creator of the Creative Fam Academy. This week's city's gone. No, let me make sure I'm back on my application here. Yep, this week's city's gone. Channels that I think you should go and watch. And we got that going. Boom. So let's go ahead and check the chat once again. Says that Nun movie right before the pandemic. Cheryl laughed so hard and threw the popcorn in every time. The 20th time. So we're talking about a Nun movie that had jump scares. Okay, I'm gonna have to check this out. All right, so Kathy knows of Mr. Brandon Washington. Says, yeah, he's awesome. Says, missed you today, Paul. Look at this. This is why I love, like, I don't put all the comments because I love when you guys are just having conversations amongst yourself. Yeah, and he says he had to get some stuff done. We all do, sir. We all do. I'm gonna leave that one there. You know, that was so funny. I heard a joke about that, but you know what? I'll probably tell you next week. But guys, we did it. This has been another successful episode of the Camera Junkie live stream. This has been episode 162. You heard correctly. That is 162 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream without skipping a beat. Now, I'm feeling good, but I'm still not 100%. So I'm going to call it right now. As always, I want to thank every single one of you Camera Junkies and Camera Junkie crew members here who hang out with me every single week and make this my go-to spot, the place where I would be no matter what every single week because of you. And if you haven't done so already, if this is your first time, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe, that you hit the like button, because the goal this year is to reach 10,000 subscribers or 10,000 Camera Junkies in this crew. And I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces as we do it all over again next week, same time, same place. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday on the Camera Junkie YouTube channel. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you next time. Talk to you.